think we had our plane there in New York.
Yeah, we were.
We flew back just before it came down. And as soon as we got home, I was watching the storm to die to be able to get back over there.
Yeah. God, it was so, man. I remember everything about that day. Like, and I just remember just watching the news, and that thing wasn't moving. It was just sitting there spinning, like going like 0.5 miles an hour. And it was like, I almost like feel like I heard people screaming like in my ears, and I was like, I couldn't take it. You know,
they were screaming.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And before we get to that though, so we're good. We're live. We're rolling. We're good.
Testes. 1, 2, 3.
We don't get started until that gets said. There we go.
There you go.
Nice. Thank you, Carlene.
You're welcome, Dennis.
All right. So, welcome, my friends, to the Connected by Water podcast, powered by Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and fueled by our good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum, fellow ambassadors at the table. Right.
Cheers to that.
I have Trista Evans and Tom Sandstrom. Thank you guys very much. Now we are revisiting this podcast because we had a tease of a podcast at the Palm Beach Boat Show, right? And we're like, well, you know what? We need to explore this a little more. So thank you guys for driving your golf cart here because you live on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
And then doing this. I want to bring up something real quick. A new program that we're working on. I have to bring this up, and I want to bring this up because we're super, super excited about it. We are collaborating with Starbright, among many things right now. Our good friends, the Red Wines, Corey in particular, Corey Redwine, and my good friend Derek Redwine, who said he didn't want to be mentioned, but I'm going to mention him anyway.
There you go.
Because that's how we roll, right? He's very humble, but he's an awesome, amazing individual, as is Corey. She is a fellow marine life artist, as is Derek. She is also the Conservation Efforts Director for Starbright. She is an official field tech for the University of Florida because they do incredible things with beach cleanup, waterway cleanup, and planting mangroves. They have tons of mangroves that they've been cultivating and growing behind their home for years, and they've been really doing great stuff with that. And they're very inspiring to me, not only as people but also as friends. And keep looking down on this. I don't usually do this show with notes, but I do have some notes here in front of me that I want to go through because I don't really want to miss anything. So what we're doing is we're doing a program with Starbright. Right now, if people don't know about Starbright, these cleaning products that they make for the marine community are very environmentally friendly. And we have a whole bucket full of the citrus cleaner degreaser and the boat wash and the salt off, and I think they call this like a reggae wash buns because it's reggae bun.
There you
go. So and a whole bunch of goodies in here, and we're starting to do a program with them called #DoGooder. We want to promote the message, Starbright's Sea Safe message, and every week we are going to select the do-gooder of the week and give this bucket to them. And we'd like you to nominate people, whoever's listening or watching out there. You can tag Starbright, tag Corey Redwine. That is her @C Redwine, SEA Redwine. And you can certainly tag Connected by Water. You don't have to tag all three. You can tag any one of those. @Connected by Water, @Starbright, @C Redwine. And if you know of somebody doing good in your community, when we say doing good, being a steward for the coastline, for the waterways, clean water, conservation, right? Sustainable fisheries, that's what we're all about. So, not to be confused. So we had this conversation with them earlier today that, we are a big proponent for conservation, as is pretty much everyone else in our community, right? Because it's a necessity, it's a need.
You gotta do
we all should do it.
Yeah, we all should do it. And the whole thing is I had a really good conversation with them. Like, the the term environmentalist has gotten such a bad rap over the years because when you say that word, you think like this wide-eyed crazy person walking around the street in DC with like and they're like this unreasonably crazy, right? But no, I mean, that's why we lean on the word conservation, right? Because it really speaks more, I think, to the term of everything that you were trying to achieve and accomplish. And it's not about setting a goal and reaching it. It's about changing your thought process and just the way you respond to don't walk over the trash. If you're on the beach, pick it up and collect it and just do good, right? So it's just about, changing the way you operate in your head. And it's not like, oh, well, one day we're going to clean it all up and we're done. It's like never going to happen, right? It's just like an ongoing kind of thing. So forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it's like a life change. I mean, it doesn't take that long to pick up something.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
No, it's not hard.
It's not that hard. Just the simplest, smallest thing. If everyone does it, can make the biggest difference. In the world, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So again, hashtag do gooder. Follow Starbright. Follow Connected by Water. Follow Sea Red Wine. And please get involved with this program. We're going to be doing it every week. So that's something that we really, really believe in. We are getting the CCA involved in this too, and their CCA and Starbright, they do a lot of work together anyway. So
they're all connected by water.
They're all connected by water. Exactly. Boom. Right. Speaking of do-gooders, one thing that we discussed at the Palm Beach Boat Show was the great lengths that you guys took during Hurricane Dorian, right? And I want to kind of bring it back to that time because it was a really important time and it was a crazy turn of events, if you will, around here. Because I think the United States of Florida did more for the Bahamas than any other place did. And certainly you guys are on the forefront of that. Now, that week and the weeks that followed was just absolute insanity with how everyone was getting involved and everyone was doing a lot of good. Mm-hmm. But we discussed what you guys went through during that time. Tom, you didn't get to sit with me last time for the Palm Beach Boat Show, and we this is part of the reason why we're getting back together. I wish you had, but you have a lot of stories to tell. So, how many flights did you take?
I can guess. I would say an average 3 a day for probably 20 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an average. Some days I did 4. Some days I did 2. But most of the time I did 3.
Wow. Back and forth.
Yeah.
And where were you landing? You're landing
Treasure
the Marsh?
Key.
Treasure?
No, Treasure Key every time.
Okay.
The Marsh Harbor at the very, very beginning was kind of dangerous.
Right.
I heard rumors and I heard people that were flying and landing there said it was a little sketchy, but you got to be smart. You're over there trying to help the people.
Yeah.
Just do your deed and leave. Don't try to hang out and go sightseeing at the beginning. Unless you had contacts and knew people that were there.
Yeah. Well, you guys had a property there, right? And
yeah.
So I mean, not only did you
it's
guys
like family.
Not only did you guys have like interest there, it's like that's all good, but you guys went above and beyond. Be like, you kind of threw that to the wayside and said, well, that's not really why we're here, right?
They're family. I mean, just like we have families here, all of our friends and stuff are here. It's the same thing. Just, it's just those people are just as neighborhood as they are neighborhood here.
Yeah. A lot of people were going over by boat, which was treacherous.
At the beginning, it was.
Once you get there.
It was they try to stop that at the beginning. We're talking the first 10 days, first 7 days.
It was dangerous.
There's a lot of floating debris.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that you didn't want to come by, as you're boating. And they were kind of downfall on it, and they also try to stop in the flights. They put up, the U.S. military put up like an Orion radar plane in the air just for, surveillance of the people going back and forth. Mm-hmm. And you had to get clearance, to fly back and forth from the Bahamian government and kind of register. Right. And us guys at the beginning, we just cowboyed it, we're like, we're not going through the loops of that stuff at the beginning because the goal is to try to help them out and get water and get food and the necessities, just get them to survive. And, as the days passed on, they kind of put more and more force to it. And then you got to communicate with that Orion aircraft.
Wow. I mean, did you ever have any run-ins with the Bahamian government? Like, did they give you any pushback? I mean,
yeah.
I heard they weren't being easy.
If I can remember the dates, I would say maybe the 3rd day into it, the Bahamian government started showing up with like troops, and I'm say ground troops, maybe like 10, nothing crazy, and they were kind of regulating what came in and what got dispersed. But to be honest, the American people didn't respect them. They just did what they did and handed the stuff off, and the people took off with it.
Okay.
This is speaking in treasure.
Right.
You know, different things happen in other ports, and I can only speak of what I heard, and it was awful things, because rightfully so, there was what I heard is government people were actually taking the stuff that Americans were dropping off, repacking the stuff up, and shipping it back to Nassau. Like, I'm talking like generators and useful things that they needed. They had no power, no water, they had nothing.
Come on.
Yeah. It was pretty awful.
Horrible.
So, like, the Nassau government, when they got involved with the people that were really donating stuff, like our groups and other groups that were doing great things, they wanted the containers loaded and shipped to Nassau first, and then Nassau would be the ones to distribute it. But then there's cowboys, you know, that would say, no, that ain't how it's working. And, you know, Four Oceans got involved with a group of our friends, and that's one of our things that we help put together. And we had it delivered directly to the port of Marsh Harbor once, and then we did Cooperstown once, you know, cowboyed it in.
Yeah.
You know, went around the government. We're like, we're doing such good deed. I mean, what are they going to do to us?
You always kind of had to do it that way because, I mean, when you're talking about a bottle of water, you want that now.
Yeah.
You know what the hell it's got to go through.
Well, even
Nassau to come
generators.
back- yeah.
So, I mean, why would you need to take all of the generators possible and put it in one section in the middle of everything? They ended up getting groups of different parts of our friends in Cooperstown or wherever, and they would literally take it to houses, like get a care package together and go to that house directly and give it to them, because that's how it was getting. Otherwise, it was all getting put in one thing, and then they would disperse it. But you still have people with no food, no generators, no water. So then they got groups of Bahamians that would physically go and take it to houses.
Yeah, deliver it.
Really?
It.
Yeah. We were part of that. I mean, just like anything else, there's bad Bahamians too that were hoarding.
Sure.
Just like, you know, it happens anywhere.
Anywhere.
You go to, and like some of these houses you go to, you got 10 generators. We're knocking on the doors. Like, come on, what do you need 10 generators for? Give me, you know, 7 of them.
Right.
Whatever.
And
something.
I'm going to give them to the families down the road that need them, you know? You know, it's just typical human nature, I think.
So you were talking just before we started recording how you guys were up in New York and you came down like the day of just like Destruction Day, right?
I think the day we flew down was probably September 1st, the day the hurricane started hitting.
Okay.
We were flying back. So the weather was actually nice on our coast. You know, we flew from New York to back home to Fort Lauderdale.
Isn't that crazy? How, like the before and after like a hurricane, you get some of the best weather.
It's clear
like
skies.
everything just gets sucked into that system. What's
Yeah.
that? Yeah, calm before the storm. Exactly.
Yeah, because we were like, oh man, we got to get back, you know, because our boat was over in the Bahamas too.
Yeah,
So
we had a brand new contender. It was a week old.
Really?
Yeah.
Had a fair.
We had one trip over
survived.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how not very many things survived there, but somehow, some way. Well, let me say this. There's a storage yard over there near the Treasure Key Airport. And our normal routine is they haul the boat out when we're not there. And I was there just like a week prior to the storm. And they hauled the boat out right when I left. And they put it into the storage lot. And it was backed into a corner, and they piled all the other boats, you know, predominantly like the Baker's Bay boat. I don't know if you're familiar with Baker's Bay, but there's a lot of money there. A lot of triple-engine, quad-engine boats surrounded my boat. So my boat was a little 30,
Tom Brady
30
likes
contender.
to go there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I got the little boat in the corner, and all these big boats protected my boat. So it was great, except it took me like 4 months to get my boat out because all the other boats were so destroyed, and there was no equipment to get it out. So here I had a brand-new 1-week-old 30 contender stuck in the corner that was good. And took me 3 or 4 months to get the thing out of there.
Paint a picture for me if you can. You're here, and then you're there, right? Because none of us really knew what it was like, but we had a pretty good idea what was going on because you're not seeing like cameras on the ground. It's the Bahamas.
Yeah, the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, so when you fly across, not knowing what to expect, you know, caution of the wind, the first time you go, and you land there, paint that picture for me if you possibly can.
Yeah. I mean, the best way I can paint it, it looked like I never experienced a nuclear explosion other than pictures, but that's what it looked like. I mean, the Casuarina pines, like the pine trees that don't break.
Yep.
You can just imagine them. Imagine a 30-foot tall pine tree that's probably a foot in diameter just snapped in half like a toothpick. Like, how does that happen? And then I'm not talking about one. I'm talking every single one of them snapped clearly in half. And that's just the first sign that you see when you land in Treasure Key. Them Casuarina pines surrounded both sides of the airport as you land.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of them snapped off. I mean, there's not a living green piece of life anywhere. Everything's brown.
I know those pines. I mean, you got to drive through them if I'm going to go catch bonefish, like on the west side of the island. You got to go through all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
try cutting with a chainsaw.
Too.
I mean, they're hard trees, and they're hard to break. They're very sturdy and stout. But anyways, they're all broken, and you just fly. And I flew around, just to take a quick peek before I landed, and just every single property was destroyed. I mean, if it looked like it was good, it was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was one house that survived. Not one. From Baker's Bay to Abaco to Marsh Harbor to Elbow, all those houses got destroyed.
Yeah, because even if some people are like, oh, that house doesn't look that bad because they see it from an angle.
One
and
angle.
it's like,
Go to the other side.
Walk around the other side, the entire house is gone. It's just like a frame structure where the door is.
Yeah.
So there was nothing. Like everybody had to rebuild. Everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time I flew, I was like trying to get in touch with my friends and my Bahamian friends that live there, and basically my one friend Trevor, and made sure he was all right. And I told him, got through on a message to a sat phone that he had obtained before the storm, and I said, whatever you do, just clear the runway. Make your group of people know they need to clear the runway is most important, and then deal with the rest later, because I know it's bad. So they did. I mean, there was a group of them that went out there and made sure the runway was clear. And then, as soon as it was humanly possible to go, I think I landed, it was like 40 knot winds still at the time when I went over, and crosswinds. It was stupid, honestly, but it's like, you're flying with water and stuff just to get stuff there and assess the
you're
situation.
Probably heavier than you probably should be.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I flew by myself, and I don't want to admit weights, but of course, the legal limits, and you know what the plane can handle.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I think everyone's going to look at that and say that's justified.
No one's going to say anything.
Right.
It's, you're hopefully the higher power will look after you. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, even I flew with gasoline, like literally gas cans every single trip just about, because there was no way of getting things around. There's no gas station. I mean, maybe 80% of the South Florida would understand.
Mm-hmm.
When there's no power, there's nothing. There's no gasoline. There's no running water. There's nothing. So where do you get gas? I mean, these guys are going to the boat yards and siphoning fuel out of the boats that are in the yard just to go back and forth to try to clean up things or get equipment running, or
to clear a roadway.
To clear
so
a
they can
roadway
get
or
supplies.
chainsaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
it's one thing to siphon something once, but if you have to do it over and over and over again, it's
they were. I mean,
not cool.
Yeah, and then you got survival. It's like, so now they're looting, the grocery store for food.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough food going in. In all respect to the Bahamian government, but they didn't do anything for those people. The saddest part was the first day or second day was you seen the Bahamian government owns the Bahama Air, and they were flying in there and charging the people $75 per person to leave. And I mean, every time I brought cash, I was giving it to families so they could leave. And I've brought people back without passports, no paperwork, back with me to the United States just to do it. I mean, like, what is the government going to do to me? I'm American.
Right.
What are they going to do to them? I'm not going to fly them back. And the American government was great. They brought them in. They, went through the proper paperwork stuff. They're Bahamians, they're like family to us.
Right, for sure.
So they had other family. The people that I picked
It's
up
like
had
the
other
keys
people
without
local.
being connected.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they literally support everyone from Florida goes to the Bahamas.
Right.
They support your fun. They support your vacations. They provide a place for us to go and relax and enjoy that. So it's like you would bend over backwards for them,
I always have this thing too about the Bahamas. It's just a side note to what we're talking about. Like, I know it's under the British flag technically.
Technically,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
still.
right. But how that isn't under like the American flag? Like, I'll never really
It
Puerto
really
Rico,
is.
but not here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it kind of is. It just isn't.
Yeah, it's
a
like
hidden secret.
unofficially, right? Yeah, definitely. So you are here though, the whole time manning the fort.
Yes.
at
Manning the
Pompano
fort is the
Airport,
word.
right? Right.
Oh my
So
God.
you got your own struggles that you're going through on this end,
Yeah.
taking the bull by the horns of receiving everything here that people are donating, which was overwhelming
Yeah.
and a lot. And like I think we talked about it when we did our quick little segment at the Palm Beach Boat Show. Like, I set up as a collection post for like 3 days, and I was like, no,
It's a lot.
can't do that anymore. And like,
Yeah.
well, this is back when we had our studio in Coral Springs, and I was like, all right, like I didn't expect like so many people just to start coming in. Like, that was a little place, our place in Coral Springs, and all of a sudden, like the whole, like you couldn't walk in there. I'm like, all right, I got to get this shit out of here.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore because we had the T-shirt thing going on, which was daunting enough, which was crazy.
Which box is this? Is it?
Yeah, I was like, all right, we got to stop this. But you guys are doing it on the macro level, though.
At the beginning. Did it. Yeah, I mean, the first 20 days of getting stuff over there was all by air. So I kind of paint that picture as like there's no ships yet, there's no containers, there's nothing of that. The crucial stuff was all going by air, which is obviously the most expensive. It's most critical at the beginning. So like Trista organized with Banyan Air, they had a bunch of hangar space, we'll say, a huge hangar space, and they said,
right here at the Pompano.
Yeah.
No, this is at Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport.
Oh, okay, all right. So out on 31st,
and we had another one at Pompano.
Yeah, it was Pompano.
Yeah, we had two of them.
Well, the one with Pompano, we first started FXE, but then Pompano was the one that after it was so overwhelming of all the supplies, I was like, okay, where can we take these as far as, my shop's getting full. You know what I'm saying? So then we went to Pompano Airport and we went to Hangar 9. So Hangar 9, there was like 4 or 5 girls there, a couple guys, and it was just overwhelming already. And you could see that they were overwhelmed themselves. And I was like, okay, so what's the plan? What are you guys doing? And they're like, okay, well, we're just kind of getting everything organized to ship out or to get flown out. I was like, oh, okay, great. And I was like, well, what do you need? She's like, we need volunteers. That's what we really, really need. We have so much stuff. We can't do this. I was like, all right, I'll do a shout out on Facebook because fishermen, their whole life is Bahamas. Other than their local waters, everyone goes to Bahamas.
Right.
Do a little shout out. We had, fishermen, fishermen's wives, their college kids. I mean, we got within, I would say 5 hours, we had like 50 volunteers. And
wow.
And then Banyan was like, wow, what is going on? I was like, okay, so we're in the fishing community. This is our home away from home. What else can we do? So then we had a meeting with the airport, the owner, and we sat down and she's like, hey, if you want to take the reins of this, I have no problem with it. I'm going to let you take the reins of Hangar 9. You can organize the flights. We just need someone to kind of orchestrate it. You're bringing all these volunteers. I was like, all right, let's do it.
You're like, all right, here we go.
All right, here we go.
It's all mine.
Give me the clipboard.
Tractor trailers
I'm ready.
took them in like one after another, buddy.
Yeah, so then we shouted out, because you have all your fishermen from all over, the Northeast, California. Then it was like, okay, this is what's going on. We're getting flights out of Hangar 9, whatever you want to donate. So then like semi-truck trailers were coming down from the Northeast, from Key West coming up, full semi-truck trailers and putting stuff at our shop and then bringing it to Hangar 9. And I was like, okay, this is so much.
Yeah,
but
right.
It worked. They had a lot of volunteers as well.
They had pilots.
And then all the pilots.
We had tons of pilots.
Yeah.
And they donated all their the planes and the time and everything.
We did between 28 and 37 flights every single day for the 14 days that we
Banyan
ran
donated the fuel too, didn't they?
They did it for cost.
Yeah.
28 to 37 flights a day.
Yeah.
That we would be like, okay, November needs, you have to do all the fuel, everything. And I have no idea. I don't work at an airport. So here I am, like on the radio, never been on anything. And after like the third.
Breaker 19, Wolf of Wall Street.
I was so embarrassed. The third day they come in, they're like, hey, are you the one on the radio? Like all the airport people in the golf carts. I was like, yeah. They're like, okay, listen. So when you ask for fuel and you don't hear anything, don't keep asking. And I was like, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
No one gave me a breakdown of how I need to ask for fuel. I'm like, I need 10 on the tips, whatever. So I was like, okay, I wish they would have told me that like the first day. Because here I am. I'm like, hello, did anyone hear me? Like, I need fuel and this plane is trying to load up,
Well, can't someone just say, hey, there's no fuel?
No, there was fuel.
No, there's plenty of fuel.
But they're
also running their business too.
Right, yeah.
And doing all, imagine an extra 35 flights a day.
I think we donated all of our employees. Banyan donated probably like 10 or 15 employees.
For that
They're obviously paying it, and then other people donated. Like she said, an extra 50 people were donated for each time.
Where else are they landing?
The Marsh Harbor. Well, we were in control of Marsh Harbor and Treasure Key.
Okay,
that's where most of our flights were going. But no, they were going to Staniel. I mean, 6-7 days in, they were going to all of the islands that were able because we had. To
I think Staniel's too far south from the hurricane, but yeah, I think they're going to Grand Bahama.
Yeah, but everybody went out.
Yeah, they were going a bunch of different places,
yeah,
but I think most of the people were going to Treasure Key and Marsh Harbor. Most of them.
So, I mean, if you've lived under a rock, I'm speaking to the people that are listening and hopefully watching, listening to the show. And if you don't remember, the epicenter of the hurricane primarily hit the northern part of the Bahamas, right? And these are all the places that you're talking about. And I want not everybody listening to the show knows the Bahamas probably as well as we all do here. So I just wanted to kind of just at least mention that, like the places that you're mentioning are all kind of on that upper rim, right? And
The most northern part
the
of
most
the
northern part.
Bahamas.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the most northern chain to about 100 miles south.
Yep.
That's where they got clobbered.
Yeah.
But they are rebuilding. Like, I mean, we go there frequently.
So that's what I wanted to kind of bring up next,
Yeah.
and I'm glad
good
you
part.
did that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the good part, right?
Yeah.
So all the efforts were not made in vain, right? So
Yeah.
everyone eventually the ship got righted from the standpoint of, okay, government's worked it out, and here we go. Okay, everything's flowing now, and and efforts are being made. But I will add this: it's easy to strike the iron while it's hot, but the iron still needs to get struck a little bit more because they need more still.
They
Yeah.
need more, yeah.
Well, and COVID came in
That's
right
another
then.
bad timing.
You
So
got to
that
bring
was-
that up too.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was just like everyone was hot and heavy. We're all taking care of Bahamas. It's great. It's like a well-oiled machine. We're getting it done. We're going to help these people. Everything is going to get back to normal. COVID hits. Never mind the Bahamas. Nobody. That's it. That's it.
Well, it made it travel so
Yeah.
difficult. So
It
the
was so
second
hard.
homeowners couldn't go there to rebuild. I
Couldn't
mean,
even go there to send supplies. Like, you're not going to
Right.
accept supplies because you got to wipe them down and stuff, So it was then now they're without food again. So it's like, it was like a double whammy for them,
Yeah.
but they're doing a lot better now.
We did a program with Bruce Marks and Brick, and we ran everything through the old
Yeah, they did a lot.
Miami Billfish and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
A lot of
that's
people
what we
did
did.
a lot. A
That's
lot
what we
of
did that
people did a
Stronger
lot.
Together shirt program through that conduit. Because I'm like, I don't want any of it, just right there. Push it right through there. But I know that there were efforts being made there that were outstanding too. So I definitely need to give those guys shout outs for all the work that they did through that. I did nothing.
Oh, there was
I could just say that right
so
now.
many. No, you
I
did.
Oh, I
didn't do
talked
much.
to Brick a
There's so
few
Yeah,
times
those
about that.
guys. Those guys did all the heavy lifting.
Pat
Yeah.
Price, Patrick
Oh yeah,
Price.
Patrick
Pat-
did a ton of scoop.
Pat had a huge role. In
He
all
helped
that.
our
God
group
rest
out
his
quite a
soul.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was where orchestrated taxi cabs and stuff to the Marsh Harbor and the Treasure Key area
To get their businesses back going.
through a
and-
donation out of West Palm Beach.
Yeah, he
That
did
really speaks
very,
to
very well.
listen,
with that.
man. COVID couldn't have taken a worse guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, really. I mean, whenever there was something needed to be done, Pat was there. I met Pat for the first time on this show, right? I had him in 2, maybe 3 times. And the big reason was for the shark stuff,
Yeah.
right? And he had posted something about when Thomas Osborne got all his long lines cut by those environmentalists, right? There's that word again. That were just completely unreasonable and did
Cocktail.
not realize that he had full on, it was licensed, everything was regulated, and he's like the last long liner left, and he's out there doing research, and they just went ahead and threw caution to the wind and just cut all his lines, and they put it on Facebook, and they faced the penalty. But
Yeah. Good.
yeah, and Pat was putting it all over, and I was like, hey, I'm like,
Thank you.
you want to talk about it on the show? It's a big deal, it's like, and that's one of the lines that we want to talk about too. Like, there's that line of like, no, we don't want to mistake all the efforts that we make conservation wise with just being like tree hugging bullshit. It's
I
it's
agree.
not it. It's about doing the right thing and doing the wrong thing. And but at that point, that's the wrong thing. So we brought Pat in, and I got to know Pat like on an episode. I'm like,
He's
man,
amazing.
this dude is the real deal.
Please.
And and we brought him on again, and I had Skip and Art came in, and we had it out, and that was when Skip and Art really met him too, and we really connected by water at that point, and it was such a good moment.
Thanks.
for all of us, just as people, but it was a good moment for the show, and it was a good moment for, the whole idea of Connected by Water and everything that we're trying to accomplish with that whole ideal, that theory and everything. And this explains it. Like everything we're talking about today is like, it's connected by water and what the community can do, because this is what we are, right? We are about, we always say connected by water, or we always say, I'm starting to say this, we're all about the seas, right? So conservation, creativity, clean water, and connected by water, and that's really what it comes down to. Community, it's another one of the C's, and it really, when Pat came in, it really spelled the whole thing out, and I was like, man, this is great. And we brought him in again and a couple times, and then we started working on projects together, and then unfortunately we lost him, and it was heartbreaking for a lot of people. They just dropped a ship in his name last week. Anytime anyone brings up Pat on the show, I have to go to great lengths to talk about him, because his memory needs to live on, because he was one of the rare guys. Yeah, for sure. So I don't mean to get sidetracked on it, but
he's great.
Pat did a great job for the relief efforts.
He earned it.
He earned it. He was a wonderful man.
Yeah.
Great husband, great father,
100%.
Great fisherman,
great
all
friend,
around,
and
great dude.
Yeah, and he was always there for anybody that needed anything. Whenever
and he was knowledgeable too, and he gave a shit.
Right.
That's it. Like he cared.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I mentioned my buddy Derek Redwine earlier, and hopefully he's still listening to the show right now, and he's probably like right now he about rolled his eyes if he is. Right. But I had a really good talk with him earlier in the week, and I can't really talk to many people about what I do and have them really understand. And I don't mean to say that in a way to prop myself up. It's just the truth, right? And Derek's one of those few people that I could talk to that does it too, and it understands everything that has to get gone through, and and the way, just the way it is, and it's not an easy life being an artist. It's really not. It's
a very coddling process, I would assume.
Yeah, and it's
figure out what is easy. Let me know. I'm looking
it takes a lot of time to do, and it takes a lot of time to do, and you got everyone's mad at you all the time, and
you got to get the crystal ball out. Like, would you like this? Well, no. Like, okay, what would you like? Well, no. I'm sure. Every
time a parent asks me about their kid, like, oh, what can you give my little budding artist, like, any advice? I'm like, study math, read books,
draw a lot,
comprehension. It's like. But he's really good, to get down in it, and he's just such a good, like, down to earth guy, to talk to. I don't even know where I was going with that, but one of the cool things that we talked about was, millionaires are overrated. You know what I mean? And the efforts it takes, and that's like, and I'm not trying to say down talk anyone that's got $1 million or multi-million dollars or anything like that, but it's like, really, at the end of the day, you want to be true to people, you want to be true to your friends, you want to be true to your community, and make a true difference in people's lives, and not just your own bank account or your own greed that motivates you or anything like that. It's like really what it's all about at the end of the day. And
it's spread the wealth, basically.
This was a lesson in that. Right? This was really, truly a lesson in that.
There's no better feeling than trying to help somebody else.
That's it.
Yeah, that's like the best thing.
That's the best drug.
The intrinsic value of that you get from helping your community or being involved, and because at the end of the day, that's really what it's
we live
all
for.
about. Yeah.
Bringing somebody up that's down.
Yeah, and that's the best type of person.
That enjoys it or appreciates it.
Yeah, in general, best type of person, best type of business person, anything. You pick someone up.
Yeah. It's all about
yeah,
community, creativity, conservation, clean water, culture, but it's really so invaluable, it just speaks volumes. I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta definitely always do that daily.
Yeah.
If you don't, then what else you got? I
get like so choked up about it. Like I really do. Like I try to not overwhelm myself about the whole thing, because, and it's really our mission here, is to do gooder, right? I love that hashtag that, to kind of reel in the program that we started talking about. And this is why we do it, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're involved in that program just because we want to be and we believe in it, and that's it, right? It doesn't go further than that. And I'm just happy to. Oh, Carlene's Pizza's here. Carlene, you ordered the pizza on the show. I love it. What kind of pizza did you get? I can't hear you. Is her mic off?
She's like, I'm getting ready to plow through this. I
said, my time is your time, and your time is my time. Come on, guys.
What kind of pizza did you get?
Nick ordered, and I think it's just the 3 of us eating, the 4 of us. They're
All
not
right.
having. So,
All right.
what kind or how many?
How's the baby doing?
She's a month today.
So listen.
Oh, Jesus.
So she was about ready to come on the show like a week before the baby was born, right?
I was coming on the show the day of to have just jokingly have my water break on the show, and it broke that
which
day.
would have been like gold.
Morning,
Which would have
so
been,
I was just
the
gonna
podcast
serve
gold,
some wine,
right?
or some rum, and just have it mysteriously just jokingly break when it broke about 8 hours earlier.
And you're like, well, there it
Maybe
is.
5. So
That's so funny.
Then she comes back on the show like a week after the baby's born. Like she's honey badger. Right?
anyway, my husband's off for a month. He's got
Relentless.
the paternity leave.
She's
Yeah.
committed. I mean, hey,
She's totally
Back at the
committed.
shop
That's
at Blue
amazing.
Water.
Right,
doing
and now-
that's
stuff, so-
amazing.
And I think what the whole point of me bringing this up is like now she like comes back. She's like drinking like barrels full of beer back there. She's like ordering pizza.
like working
She's
out
like,
back there.
It
Mama's
helps the
home.
breast milk. This is all part of the deal. It is. By the doctor.
I love you. You know I do.
I did it for 9 months sober,
Yeah.
serving all your guests,
So
and I
9
couldn't
months,
drink
like the
anything.
entire time she's like pregnant. She's
You
like,
earned
here,
it.
we're all drinking rum.
I am.
Like right in front of her face. And she's like, you guys suck. I'm like, well, why do you keep coming? She's like, I don't know.
I committed. That's my problem. I commit, and then I'm committed, and that's it.
There you
So
go.
it's
You go
like,
full
once
throttle.
I commit, I don't have an excuse not to show up.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
All right. You're the best, Carlene. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, we're all in with the whole Papa's Pilar thing, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay. So
Oh, yeah.
I know Papa's Pilar is another company that we are involved with that believes heavily in everything that we just talked about.
They
and-
actually were a whole part of the Bahamas. I mean,
right. So,
Donated money to our group,
yeah.
cash money. You know,
yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah, and Steve and,
Went a long
and
ways.
Mike and Nick and Johnny and all those guys, I mean, they're solid.
Oh, they
Yeah.
I mean, when we started the company, they came in like right after, because what Papa's has been around for 8 years?
I would say 10.
9 years, 10 years, something. Right when we started, they were right there too. So it's like we kind of connected there, and then we were doing boat shows together and promoting, like, basically co-branding. We'd bring all the rum to the boat shows, and they're like, "Oh, what's Papa's?" Now they're like, "Where's the Papa's?"
Where's the Papa's? Yeah,
Now
exactly.
tables have
Everybody's
turned.
addicted to it now.
It's here at the gallery.
Yeah, it's like I know you have that. Now I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't serve it till noon because we want everyone like buying stuff. We
Yeah.
have to wait.
Oh, I know that.
But they did all the Bahamas relief stuff. Every bottle sold. They donated during that
Yep.
hurricane.
Yeah.
For every single bottle that was
Yep.
sold, they donated like $5 or $10.
I forget how much the amount
It was
but
$5 for like the blonde and $10 for the brunette.
Really,
Yeah, well,
something like that.
dark, whatever.
the brunette. I like it. Blonde and brunette. That's good. And the redhead. I'm drinking the redhead.
That's what I'm
Yeah, the
saying.
redhead, see?
Steve knows. He's
Maybe you misbranded it.
No, that's,
Blonde, brunette,
well,
redhead.
nicknames never hurt anybody, right?
Yeah.
So we got the blonde, the brunette, the redhead.
exactly.
Oh my God, Trista, we're breaking new ground today on the podcast. This is wonderful. But the one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is because there's ongoing efforts.
Oh, yeah.
that they're still doing. And just talking to Mike, and I know that there's stuff like in the works and the plans, because I don't want the Bahamian people to think that they're forgotten about, and they're
Right.
not. Because we're continuing to do more. I know that there's more revitalization efforts that are happening, and that's more of a to be continued scenario that we're going to be talking about later on as they go on.
Good.
But we are involved, and we're going to make it happen again. And I think it's important to bring that up. just because of our Papa's Pilar circle, and everyone that we know, everything that we do together. So I just want to let anyone who's listening and watching to know that
it's
that
connected.
we're not just talking about this today. I want to make this ultimately and abundantly clear. All right. We're not just talking about this today because to give ourselves a big old pat on the back. This is not what this is about. Okay, 100%. Please, anyone listening and watching, do not think that. The main reason that I wanted to bring you guys in to talk about this was because we want to make sure that people understand that it's not just we're done. Right, it's a continuing kind of thing that we're still moving forward with, and we need your support and we need your help, right? And as the programs start rearing their heads and getting known and what we're about to do, just understand that that's the point of this episode, is that just to let everyone know that
it's
when
not over.
That time comes, we're going to need your help.
Yeah.
And we're going to need, whether it's money or effort or, whatever, probably mostly money at this point. But that's going to have to happen. And we're going to be asking people for that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's on pretty good.
Yeah,
though,
and it's a home away from home. I mean, Bahamas. I mean, they're survivors no matter what.
Right.
They'll survive.
One of the most resilient people I've ever met.
Yeah, exactly. And they're fine. It may take a little bit longer. Here in the U.S., it's like, okay, I want this done. We all have instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll get it done when they get it done.
Right.
That's like the Bahamian time. We all love that.
What I love about the Bahamians is like they live a way simpler life than we do.
Way simple.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I could be a Bahamian.
Yeah. Tom will
For
put his
sure.
phone away, not even turn that thing on. As soon as we get there, he won't even see it. It's like away. I'm like, wow, how do you do that? But he does. He could do it.
I could do it. No
When
problem.
when I first started as a young budding fish artist, I was like, no, man, I want to create real art, serious art, and I don't want to just sit there painting coconuts, selling them on the beach, and everything like that. Now I'm just like, man,
I wish I was selling coconuts.
I just want to paint coconuts.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. I mean, you learn a lot. One thing that really frustrates me is when you get some high-profile American go over there trying to change the world and create a casino and a resort on a beautiful place like Abaco, and it's like that's not what Abaco is. It's like a family-oriented island that you're supposed to enjoy in nature and the simple life.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about over there, and we need to keep it that way. And the people over there are very simple. They're very, very easy to get along with, and they don't need much. And they're family, and they're very religious, and they're very resilient. They don't need much to survive, and they're very happy people.
I don't think most of us need much. I mean, I think needing much is a learned activity, right?
It has to be.
I mean,
that instant gratification has gotten
complicates things.
So high. You got to have it right now.
Yep, got to have it right now. Jeez, I gotta talk my kids out of so much right now. I'm like, man, I should have not
wait
given
for your
you
birthday.
that phone.
No, I'll get it Amazon right now.
Exactly.
Actually, how about now? I'll get it now.
100%. But it's like if you look at like the way Florida used to be, like when we were growing up, it's just like, well, don't you wish that Florida was preserved in some way, like South Florida? I'm speaking specifically.
Oh yeah.
Don't you wish some of it was preserved? But okay, then stop over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's kind of what we're talking about. Like, use this as an example of what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you look at the way our sewer pipes are busting, you know what I mean. I'm really good friends with Johnny Lose, who owns Clean Waterways, that company that's filtering out. They developed that technology, which is basically like a what do you call that? The thing in the fish tanks.
RO.
A filter.
Reverse osmosis.
Well, the filter, but it's I don't know, this is the name for it. But but that's what they're doing. It's just like
it's like salt based though, right? Or no?
Well, they're basically filtering the water when something goes wrong, and then they're cleaning the water.
Yeah.
With their machines that they invented, but why is that even necessary?
Because we overcomplicated everything.
Right, 100%, and
Because we gotta have it now.
gotta have it now.
They got the golf course and green
go.
grass.
Yeah, well, you built these sewer systems for 100,000 people, and now there's 2 million people, and
Like, well,
and,
oops.
it's gonna break. It's gonna get old fast. And,
Mother Nature has a good way of cleaning things.
yeah,
You
sure
know?
does. Sure does.
You put that in perspective.
No, 100%, 100%.
You know?
But I look at everything that in light of that, like that, Florida has to go through and all the problems that we face with, send it south with the water and, and again, I'm going to bring up Derek, another good conversation I had with him today. It's like, all right, you got, we had Bouncer on, and everybody loves Bouncer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bouncer's like, man, there's so much Roundup. We did all the testing. Roundup's the problem. It's like, okay.
It's one of the problems.
That's one of the problems, right? They're like, the sugar people,
Sugar cane.
Yeah, the sugar cane. So that's one of the problems, right? And, and the oyster thing, and it's like,
everything's 10% of the problem, but when you have 100 problems, then you have more than 100%. So then you're totally screwed.
Yeah, that's why it's important, I think, for everyone to focus on their thing, right? And not have to. You can't be everything to everybody, right? And that's just in life. Right? You just can't be everything to everybody. Lord knows we all try, but
you can't save the world.
It's very, very tough, but especially when it comes to conservation. But if you just focus on your thing, right, and your biosphere and manage it and be the steward or the ambassador of that, then hopefully problem solved one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do a little bit.
Do a little bit.
There's so many freaking people here. It's like
it's
everybody
insane,
does a little bit, it would be fine.
All right, so I'm still living in Coral Springs right now, right? Because with the way the housing market is, it's like
It's a good school
we got
system.
stuck out there.
But it's a good schooling out
we
there.
homeschool.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm not handing my kids over to the government every
There
day.
you go. There you go. Well, then you can teach me a few
school
things.
System over there.
No?
Yeah, it's overrated.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it used to be, I guess.
Yeah.
What part of it don't you like? The gender neutral part of it?
You joke about
Or is
that.
that another subject?
No.
You joke
go
about
for it.
that, but
No.
we
No,
had a
it's real.
6-year-old hold.
I know it's real.
Yeah, no, it's real.
I'm glad I don't have
Sex ed in
kids.
kindergarten is what they're doing for 6-year-olds right now. I had a friend of mine pull their kid. I talked to her, and
it's
she was
sad.
homeschooling, and she
It's
moved
sad.
to
I mean,
Coral
we're
Springs.
laughing about it, but it's real. I mean, this is
it
the problem.
is.
They're teaching these new generations something that'll affect the next generations, maybe 20 years from now.
And it's funny because she homeschooled her
disgusting.
kid, and we won't get deep into the conversation. She moved to Coral Springs in order to have the school system. Moved from Texas, moved to Coral Springs, went to Ramblewood Middle. I'll throw it out there. She homeschooled her son for the first couple of years, and I said, you need to get your, put him in a school. They need social, be around other kids. All that. She finally did it. Sex ed rolled around. And she yoked him from what they were teaching in kindergarten. Something you just mentioned. He came home and said, well, why do I have to, who's a they and this and that? And not only what they were, that subject, but what they were teaching in sex ed. It wasn't about having babies. It was more about positions and what places to place things, if I can say it diplomatically.
Yeah.
That's at a 6-year-old level.
I mean, what happened to
Yeah.
drawing the turkey with your hand and
She
a piece
yoked-
of paper and drawing around your fingers?
Right. Well, she ended up taking him back out. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving any more schooling.
Yeah,
advice
it's a
on
lot.
anything.
Obviously, I don't think kids should be able to choose any of that, and especially
Not at
fourth,
6.
fifth, sixth grade.
Like you say, they
You
don't even know what they want to eat.
They don't even know what they want for dinner.
They were teaching them to push back a little bit on things.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm trying to say. And
which
not
is
what you
very,
teach them.
it's way too much.
The problem is the people we vote in are making those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, listen to this, right? Okay. So I don't think it's a secret to anybody that I'm a big fan of our buddy Ronnie DeSantis, okay?
We all are.
Right.
Fish
So
community, I would
The
say.
goat.
I mean he comes in day one and basically just tries to set the Everglades straight right off the bat. That was his first, order of business. But I mean, I just love he's tough and strong and he doesn't take any crap from anybody, and he's not afraid to just stand up and
do the right thing.
do the right thing.
Yeah,
for what
do
he
the right
believes.
thing.
Opinion be damned. Who cares, right? But if you talk about the bill, which isn't what they're calling it at all, because I would tell you, read the bill if you think it says that. It doesn't anywhere, not even remotely close, right? And they're trying to make it sound like it does, and I'm sorry. But I don't mean to get controversial. We don't really talk politics on this show. Right?
Yeah.
But if we wanted to go there, all I
We
gotta
don't
say,
have to.
all
Yeah,
I
we don't
gotta
have
say
to.
is read the mother effing bill.
Yeah, and
please,
that's-
because
yeah,
it
it
isn't
does.
remotely close to what you're trying
Most
to
people
make it
just
out
want
to
the
say.
Facebook
Right.
portion of it.
All we're saying is, like, don't talk to my kid about that shit when he's only in third grade.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
Okay,
tough. I had
please.
nieces, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're not
this
saying
is-
you
this
don't
is
say
crazy.
nothing like that, but don't just there's time and place, and this is neither time nor the place, and that's my job. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't have any children. I have a lot of nieces, nephews, godkids, everything. But that was the whole thing. I was like, this
sad.
is another reason.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
even political at that
Can't
point.
do it.
It's not political. That's the
No,
thing.
it's not political.
No.
Listen, if you look at it really, I mean,
And we're not judging color or people or
no, I'm not judging. I'm not
personalities
judging
or
anything
sexual
at all.
orientation. Is just more or less what's right is right. As a kid's a kid. Let
A
the kid be a kid. Let
a
him
kid
play with his
doesn't even know if
toys.
they want what type of
Let
ice
'em
cream
draw
they
with
want,
crayons.
Take 'em
anything
fishing.
they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get them
Fishing
out.
solves everything.
It does.
Right?
It
Exactly.
really
It really does.
Yeah,
It's
because you can talk a lot out there, or you can just shut up. You
It's
don't have to
primal.
do
You
anything.
You can say shut the fuck up. It's okay.
can.
I will
We're
if you
good.
don't want to.
We're good. Trista,
I know. I'm trying.
say it with
I
me.
like chuck her mouth.
Say it with
Shut
me.
the fuck up.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, and you're shit. You're beautiful. You're good.
No, I mean, well, we talk about it on the show a lot about the whole connection of fishing and like what it does to people when you're out on the water.
Changes a kid's life.
Well, and
we
it
come to the-
changes the whole persona of how you know someone. If you're on a boat with someone,
It does.
Now-
Please tell me more about that.
Thank you.
You're bringing, you're bringing a different. I can already tell you're bringing a different perspective, new information to the argument here. Please.
it's so true. So you can know someone, really know someone, but when you get them on a boat, you really know someone.
It's true.
It's everything always comes out, and you're like, okay, well, I'm spending 14 hours on a boat with someone. You're like, okay, now I know everything about you.
Yep.
I didn't know anything about you, but what else are you going to do but chit chat? So you literally get to know everything about
Right.
someone. You're like,
I never
wow, that
want to
was
see that person
way
ever
too
again.
much.
Until you catch that big fish.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know
Right.
what? This
I
guy's great.
love
It doesn't
you,
matter.
man.
We can all hang out again. It's okay.
That hasn't happened too often.
Going back to dumping in a bucket.
What, the Dunkaroo?
Dumping in a bucket.
Oh, dumping in a
in a
bucket.
bucket.
Oh my God.
Every fisherman's done that.
Oh,
If you haven't done that before, you
You're
probably
not a
haven't fished
fisherman.
enough.
You haven't lived.
yeah, no.
No, but one of the conclusions that we come up with, like, why there's such a deep connection, like, once, like, you could, like, oh, yeah, I went out with that dude at a bachelor party, like, 8 years ago, and it's just like, oh, who cares, right?
Yeah.
But it's like 8 years ago, we caught that huge-ass mahi. It's like, you're going to have that for the rest of your life.
Or
Like,
you went
what
on a
is
great
that?
trip through the islands, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this was amazing, and now
It's
it's,
like a
like they're
primal
really
connection.
good people, even though they're judged like, oh, that guy's an asshole or whatever. Like, no, he's really not.
Yeah.
You know, he just maybe had a bad day the one time you met him,
Right.
or the one time you met her. She was.
No, I'm pretty much an asshole all the time. So
It's okay. You pour the booze. You're excused.
You beer guzzling, pizza drinking.
Mommy.
Yeah, mommy. She's back there.
eating pizza and drinking beer.
I love it.
They write country songs about women like me.
You ever talk about the value of fish? Like giving it to somebody that doesn't fish?
Tell me.
Well, I mean, the best thing in the whole world is like when you go fishing, and I just think I don't think we appreciate the fish that we catch as much as we should. But when
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
yeah.
Oh, you
So
can-
my best thing, my favorite thing, I love eating fish. Don't get me wrong.
We
but
eat a lot
my
of fish.
most favorite thing in the whole entire world is when I go to the Bahamas and I go slay them like everybody else. Go and catch 6 mutton snappers or in an hour in front of Guana Key, and then take them and give them away to some local that's could use it. And giving them that fish, guess what? That guy remembers that every single time. They love it.
Yeah.
Even back home, I mean, bring it
Or
to
you bring it
the
home.
richest guy in the whole world that doesn't get to fish or doesn't go to the supermarket to buy fish, and you give it to them. They remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, because
it
fresh
really
fish is so different from the restaurant. Because obviously we've swordfish forever, but bringing swordfish in all the time to the shop and everything, everyone's like, oh no, I don't eat swordfish. I'm like, why? Like, oh, it's so gross. Have you had it fresh?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, now every time, are you going sword fishing? We're like, no, we're going to the Bahamas. No, we're not going sword fishing, but swordfish is great.
You know, it's really true. And, a lot of
never
the
know.
appreciation for it, too, goes into, I think, if someone looks at you and goes, wow, you were the one that went out there. You were the one who put all the effort, and you're giving that up to me who did nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an appreciation factor, too. It was say the weight of a man's heart's through his stomach. Right, and really, what you're offering, you're giving like a peace offering. I think it's a really good way to
They
connect
love
with
it.
people.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's the best way to communicate or get in touch with somebody. And I shouldn't say get in touch, but make somebody appreciative of what you're giving them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. Like
I mean, food is the bounty, right? And,
Yeah.
and when you share the bounty, that's, I don't think, I mean, the Bible talks about it all the time. I mean, sharing the bounty.
we give the fish to the vendors. Any vendor you work with, here you go, here's some fish. Like, no problem. You're first priority. Like, it is what it is.
Listen, in the grander scheme of thing, I think that's why meat's so important.
Oh, yeah.
In general. Mm-hmm. Like, if people want to just eat leaves and grass, I mean, that's cool. It's your prerogative. I mean, go for it. I mean, but really, there's a higher purpose to meat.
Yeah.
I really think there is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You gotta have some meat. That's what it is.
Not to tease an episode, but next episode I'm gonna have Benny Ortiz on, which he's an expert at slow pitch jigging, probably the authority on it, and he's got some really good methods on proper ways to prep a fish on the boat the second it hits the deck to ensure you get the freshest meat possible. So that is one of the things that we are going to talk about next week.
Nice.
I did that slow pitch for the first time.
Yeah.
In Panama about 2 months ago.
What'd you think?
Oh, now he loves it.
It changed my spectrum of deep water fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I mean, here I make electric reels, and I'm like,
right.
okay, give me one of these electric reels.
That's why I'm kind of smiling.
Give me one of those manual reels. It was awesome. We caught, I don't know, we probably caught 15 groupers with our buddy Shane Jarvis.
Here I am talking to the guy that perfected. Bring him up.
Yeah,
I know.
We had the electric reel, and we didn't even use it. Honestly, God, we were dropping in I say deep as 600 feet, 700 feet of water.
Yeah,
for snowy groupers.
Okay.
And every drop you catch one. I mean, one time I got 2 maybe 15-pound snowy groupers on one jig.
Wow.
Yeah, reeling it up, it was just awesome. I did cheat. I did put it in the rod holder, after getting it up, quarter way off the bottom, and then I put it in the rod hole and reel it up. But it was rewarding every time.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not bad. It's fun. Yeah. Actually, I told my buddy Shane we were fishing with, I said I could do this all day. I literally could do it all day.
Meanwhile, manual. I'm like, let's go tuna fishing. And Tom's like, no. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, we're going to have to sit here all day now.
Yeah.
And Shane's like, what do you want me to do? I was like, I don't know. We got to wait. He's like really catching. He's loving this. So I was like, I want to go tuna fishing. Yeah. But Tom's killing it. So we got to wait.
Yeah, I've yet to really do it. I mean, lately, I've been having a bad 6-month run here. I haven't really been fishing much lately at all, but I need to talk to Harris about that, right that ship. But
it happens.
You get in the right place, it'll change your view on fishing deep with a manual reel.
You have to go over the Bahamas with us.
Yeah, let me know. I'm ready to go. I'm actually.
Yeah, you and Liz, you guys would love it.
Yeah, I gotta scratch that itch, because it's I've been working way too much, and it's just
But that's not a bad 6 months. It's a really good 6 months.
It was a good 6 months. You
haven't been able to fish. You got to kind of.
Yeah, no, it was a good 6 months. I can't complain. You know what I mean? But it's there comes a time where it's just enough's enough.
Put the old college effort in.
Why do we work? We got to have fun.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
And you have to really pull yourself away and just go. I mean, I'm like a workaholic. I will literally be at my shop. If we're in town, I'm there every Saturday, whatever. I'm always there.
Yeah.
Tom's like, oh, you're going to go to the shop, because Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, yeah, what are you going to do? You need to go to the shop. But he's like, we do that Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
So unless we go out of town, I'm always there.
That is the one good thing, not the one good thing, but one of the good things about the kids. It's just come Saturday morning, there's times I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go to work, right? Because the phone's not going to ring. People aren't going to call. This is the day I can get stuff done. So much done. Right?
Yes.
Daddy, what do you want to do today? I'm like,
never mind. I'm not doing anything.
Let's go do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I have been bass fishing a lot, though. I can tell you. When I say I haven't been fishing, I just haven't been offshore much. But I go bass fishing with Sean all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I love bass fishing.
Yeah, wow. He loves it too.
We went up in Minnesota. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We got so many bass. The guy took us out. One of our vendors, and he's like, oh no, well, there's so many people on the lake. It was a holiday, and he's like,
4th of July.
4th of July. Just don't expect anything because this is so much.
5th of July morning.
Yeah, we caught so many fish. He's like, I can't even believe this. What's going on right now? I was like,
4th
okay,
of July, right?
Yeah.
In Minnesota, catching 5-6 pound bass one after another.
All day.
I got this thing about holidays. Great things happen on holidays. You always get that big Christmas fish, or it's like the October swell. It's it always starts firing off the shore. It's for some reason it's early. Oh yeah, I caught that. That was a big Easter fish or something like that. It's something always good happens on the holiday.
I agree.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like some sort of like cosmic energy that happens, right?
Yeah, everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's not work. You're laid back. It's like a good time to be
you
there.
don't care, and that's when it happens.
Yeah.
You're just out there having fun.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right.
There's no pressure. It's
100%.
like, fuck it, it's a holiday.
100%. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you always those days when, like, you're just like,
I'm just not trying to clean the dishes. I want to go fishing.
Oh, my God. Arlene, you get a nice big freshie here.
Spicy.
Are you? Cheers.
One more snake bite.
Cheers.
One more snake bite. Yep. So, listen. It really means a lot to me that you guys come here and talk to me. It really does on a lot of levels, right? And I want to bring up, just not to build this up like crazy like that, but I want to bring up relationships and the value relationships and working together like through a lot of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to publicly acknowledge my gratitude for you guys and your understanding and allowing people to be who they are, allowing your friends to be who they are, and understanding that there's good in the world, right? And you got to understand that there's also people that might not have your best interests in mind, right? So I want to thank you for being understanding, for allowing me to work through that.
Aw, cheers.
And I appreciate that. So
yeah,
thank you.
Good people.
Thank you. Absolutely. Right?
Absolutely.
So to Trista and Tom, I want to just say thanks for coming in and sharing your story with us. And I want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the community. I know the city recognized you for that, right? So I want to just throw that in there at the end. Like, it was like a monumental effort. You guys probably were being a little humble on some of it and a lot of everything.
I didn't even want to go, to be honest.
What's that?
I didn't even want to go.
No?
To get the award?
No, I didn't want
Yeah.
it.
With the award, yeah.
No, I was like, I don't need the city of Pompano pat me on the back for that. I mean, it's appreciated. Don't get me wrong. It's not like that. It's just like, I'll still do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need somebody to pat me on the back for it.
Yeah.
These people are, needed help and they needed love, and somebody had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it. And a lot of people stepped up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There were so
It's amazing.
many.
It's not just us, like here in Pompano or whatever, Key West and the other cities that stepped up and did it. It was like a lot of people stepped up from all over the United States.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did.
So it wasn't fair for us to just get an award for that.
Yeah, Tom's like, does everyone else get one? I was like, I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
I'm like, we're the basic, the pot, everything came into us, and then we
appreciate it.
Well, everyone, listen. A lot of times people will make fun of Pompano, and the Pompano bubble, and listen, the Pompano bubble is alive and well. Trust me, I'm not this. I'm not. It's
I love
a
Pompano.
thing. It's a thing.
Yeah,
right?
we like Pompano
but
a
I love
lot.
Pompano, right? But you can get caught in that bubble like quick, and it'll pop you. But if you don't watch out. But there's so much good that comes out of this town.
Oh yeah,
that there really is. I mean, it's a hard-working town. I guess you could say it's a blue-collar town in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of people just like roll up their sleeves and get it done. And but a lot of people have that attitude of like, no matter what, we're all gonna pull together, and we're gonna protect this town, and we're gonna protect our resources and
put everything aside, whatever. But that's so true. Like you said, that like it's hardworking. Like that's where respect comes in from everybody. Like everybody, like work hard, then play hard. That's the main thing. That's why everybody's kind of connected. I think in this area because everybody works their ass off for
productive citizen. Why wouldn't you want to be part of it?
Of course, and that's why it's a tight little community. And I understand that. And it's like you work hard and you get to play hard, and everybody's in the same realm, and it's like you just enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's why fishing is a big part of everybody's life here.
Right. It's part of the fabric of it all. And
the foundation.
Because it's hard work. It's not like fishing is super easy. It's like, oh, wow, this is a great luxury. No, it's a lot of hard work, There's a lot of prep time. There's a lot of, organizing and,
long days.
Long days.
Yep, for sure. And, I always say, like, if you go, like, anywhere on the planet and there's, like, a big fish hung or big tournament to be had or a big check on the chances are there's someone from Pompano there.
Yeah. At least watching or something.
Yeah, for sure. But what makes that different than the Fort Lauderdale by the sea, skip Pompano and then go right into the Deerfield Lighthouse Point in Boca. And it's like Pompano's. They're in it, right?
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine.
It's like it's no fluff, man. It's all about getting it done. So,
yep.
But anyway, that's my long way of saying thanks.
Yeah.
Right, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on. It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, can we stay and continue to drink?
We're staying. No, that's my bar.
All right, Mommy.
Right, that's my bar. I have my bar for a reason.
That was my bar. Wait a minute.
It's her
Straight
bar.
comes out. It's your bar. I'm just here
bar.
for the Monday night
It's
festivities.
Her bar. No, it's really Carlene's bar.
Awesome.
It is.
But yes,
if I try to go back there, and it's like she's like,
shh. I'm good. I'm going to sit on that side tonight.
Yeah, you can. I'll serve you. You earned it. You deserve it.
Oh.
Yeah, long time the Hulk Hogan mug. So, all right. If you're in the market for a new truck or vehicle, stop by our good friends at Joey Cardico's for Dodge Jeep Ram. They will hook you up.
You think you give me one of those new Cudas they're talking about here in 2023?
Really?
Yeah, I would really be interested.
You're breaking news here on the show.
They keep talking about it. I'm a huge Dodge.
Really?
I'm a
like
huge,
the old school Cudas?
Huge Mopar fan.
Barracuda.
Wow.
Really? Nice. I like that.
About it.
They came out the Grand Wagoneer too. They revitalized that too, which is.
What about the minivan with the wood sides?
No.
The Woody?
The Dodge Caravan?
Yeah, the Dodge Caravan.
But they do have a minivan with like 400 horsepower, maybe 600 to SRT.
SRT.
That would get the groceries real fast for Mama.
Yeah.
For what?
For moms
me?
that like to go fast.
Are you kidding me? For what?
I feel like I'm totally getting
I
that
have
space.
2 of them.
It's an excuse to have another kid.
Right.
Kidding. Completely kidding.
There's no reason to be late to drop those kids off for school then, right?
100%. Swing by the gym. You're like, are you ready to jump out? I'm not
Roll
stopping.
out. Here you go.
Spinning the wheels in the parking lot. It's perfect.
Yep. Perfectly.
That's funny.
So yeah, I can't make promises, but if you walk in there and you say you heard about us on the Connected by Water podcast, you might get a better deal than most people. That's all I gotta say about that. Ask for Dean. It's my guy.
Dean.
Right? And if you haven't heard by now, we are all members of the Papa's Pilar family, right? Who remind you never to be a spectator. We want to thank them for their ongoing contributions to keeping the lights on around here and allowing us to create this great show and
get drunk.
Talk to our friends.
And get drunk.
They let's get drunk and talk to our friends and put it out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like a really long Snapchat.
they're responsible for that. Yeah, right, exactly. And our friends at Papa's Rub, right? And for providing us with food soon. We're going to be getting, it's on me. I haven't called. And
We got food.
anything.
It's pizza.
All right, we got pizza.
Sausage and pepperoni was amazing.
So,
That's first course, Ma. You're
Yeah.
good. You got more coming.
They do remind you to eat, drink, and be local, and I want you to go ahead and sign up for that EDBL app. That'd be helpful to all of you if you want to learn everything there is about people in this community. So, and I want to thank those at Hooker Electric for not only giving us their time, but just being great stewards in the community, a member of our professional community.
And we sell hookers, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean.
So, thank you so much.
I had so much for that one, but I'm not going to go
Yeah,
there.
just
So I'm
leave
the only-
it,
it's
leave
the
it
only
lay,
hooker
Ma.
your wife
Leave
will
it
buy.
lay.
That's where he has me here for those puns, but I'm just going to let it.
Leave it lay.
No,
Mom,
let's
what do
hear
you
one.
hold
Let's
back
hear
on?
one.
What
Let's
do you
hear
hold
one.
back on?
It's past
So
that
you're saying
point.
you can say fuck you, but you won't come up with one?
Well, you say you sell hookers. I'm like, well, I got 2 gentlemen here that might need some. So we're like, hookers are always welcome.
What do you say, Yanni?
I think I need a nanny. You
They're
know,
about
like,
$5,000 a pop, so.
6'2" blonde with blue eyes from Russia.
All right, your ego is not your amigo. Always do your best at the end of the day. Just let God do the rest. And do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we are all
Connected by water.
Connected by
Thank
water.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.